So after hearing that song, doesn't that make you just want to remember that you're the solution that the world's been waiting for, right? I think the world needs something. Yeah. Today I'm super glad to be here because I have the opportunity and we have the opportunity to discuss something that I think is wonderful and fun and it happens it happens in across New Thought churches every January. Every January we're invited to go back into the core basic teachings of the science of mind. And so every January we take a week and talk about what's basic. I found in my life that when you need a jump start, that it's good to ask a question, what do you know is true? What do you know is true? Especially in a world right now where it's hard to know what's true. You ever notice? Like there's so much AI, and so much going on. And it's like, I wonder if this is true or not. And we're invited as spiritual beings on a conscious spiritual path to keep bringing our attention back to what is spiritual truth, not looking externally all the time, but what is a spiritual truth. So we're going to look at that. And I brought my Science of Mind textbook because we're going to just dig in, like we're going to have a foundation class today. Would that be all right? Yeah. And so we're going to dig into that a little bit. And but before we do, is it all right if I tell you a story? So there's this man and his buddy, the ostrich. They went in for lunch one day, and the server came up and he ordered a hamburger and French fries and a Coke, and the ostriches all have the same. And they ate their lunch, and then he pulled out. The lady says 26.72, and he pulled out of his pocket exactly the amount of money that was needed and paid. A couple days later, they came in for lunch, did the same thing, ordered a grilled cheese sandwich and French fries and a Coke, et cetera, et cetera. And when it came time to pay, he pulled exactly this right amount of money out of his pocket. And finally, after this happened several times, the server said, "Well, so what's the deal with every time you pull out exactly the amount of money? How is that possible?" He said, "I'll tell you a story." He says, I was lucky, and I was told the genie came out of the bottle and gave me three wishes, and one of the wishes that I wished for was that whenever I needed money, I could reach into my pocket and whatever money I needed would be there. And the server's like, that's a great idea because no matter what, you'll always have enough. That was a smart wish. She goes, yeah. And then she says, what's with the ostrich? He says, well, that wasn't such a smart wish. I wish for a chick with long legs. So today we're talking about what it does. All right. And to understand the context of what it does, in the Science of Mind textbook, there's 4 chapters right at the very beginning. And it's the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. Okay. So I like to think of it as very simply, those 4 ideas is the thing itself is the great I am. Okay. The great I am, the great principle, the great life, God, spirit, infinite. This great I am is everywhere present. Okay. This great I am is everywhere present. And there's contemplations to, what is that? And then there's the I am that I am, where I am a piece of that great I am. I am like the ocean, I'm a drop. I'm the same substance of that great I am. I am. And our whole journey is waking up to remember that I am one with this presence. That is that uh, the way it works. Now, the great I am manifesting through the individualized I am is happening all the time by the law of mind or the law of correspondence. We call it the law sometimes, that there's a universal law that is operating always, and that is the law of creation. All right. We're going to talk about that piece today. And how do we use that is like the I, when I wake up to the I am that I am constantly in my everyday life establishing my identity in the world through my I am Janette. And then we differentiate that identity in all the different ways that we do on this journey. I am happy. I am sad. I am sick. I am well. I am amazing. I'm worthless. On all the ways in the day that we are identifying ourselves as many, many different aspects. Now, this is the play of life. But our invitation today is to look at the law of mind, understand the law of mind, so that we can remind ourselves to be more conscious about how we are living in this world when we realize that there is a law of mind that is operating. It is impersonal and it is operating upon our chosen thoughts, consciousness, and beliefs. All right? Everybody willing? Have a hand? Show of hands. Ready to jump into the law of mind? Yes? All right. So we're going to start, first of all, with number one, understanding what it does. All right? And we're going to pull right from the textbook. But the print's so small, I'm going to read from my notes. All right. All right. It says this. Understanding what it does, there's a law of correspondence. Life corresponds to our belief in it. In the science of mind, it says we should approach the study of this science rationally, never expecting to derive any benefits from it that its principle does not contain. We're not expecting to have anything else that it's not already there. We are surrounded by a mind or intelligence that knows everything, that the potential knowledge of all things exists in this mind, that the abstract essence of beauty, truth, and wisdom also coexist in the mind of the universe. Okay, so what's he stating? He's stating the nature of this, right? The nature of this intelligence and this intelligent mind. And stating that the beauty and truth and wisdom coexist, that we also exist and we may draw, but what we draw from it, we must draw through the channel of our own minds. A unity must be established and a conscious connection must be made before we can derive the benefits which the greater mind is willing to reveal or impart to us. In other words, the spirit can only give to us what we can take. So we start to understand that there is this wisdom, but it is having to operate through us. That's the way we start participating more consciously in this dance called life. That's as simple as deciding to get up in the morning and focus on gratitude versus focusing on that the world is coming to an end. Right? So this is understanding what it does, that it is all intelligence, but it is operating through us. Operating through who? Us, exactly. Operating through us. All right. So, understanding that, let's go to the next step is the nature of the law of mind. We must understand the nature of the law of mind is that the law of mind is impersonal. That means that the law is operating for you and me, and it's operating for Jack and Jill, and it is operating through all. Okay? Do we have the slide up there that we can put up? The the, the nature of the law of mind, number 2. So the law of mind, the universe is impersonal. It's what? Impersonal. It gives alike to all. It is no respecter of persons. It values each alike. Its nature is to impart, and ours is to receive. Its nature is to impart, its nature is to give, and it is ours to receive. That sounds easy enough, doesn't it? It sounds easy enough. But let's look at it. It's like I've heard it say that the law is like the genie that says, "Your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. Your wish is my command." And we're saying, "But I'm wishing all the time. I'm wishing all the time, but I'm not getting what I wish." But what is underneath the wishing? What is the subconscious belief? What is the truth of the subconscious belief underneath the wishing? Subconscious belief, when I'm wishing and wishing and wishing, the subconscious belief is I don't have, right? What's the energy? What's when I say the energy, the truth of the energy, when the energy is I don't have, and I wish I did, but my energy is I don't have. The law doesn't say, okay, well, you're a nice person, just go ahead and have it, right? So we have to participate in the self discovery is really understanding what's underneath in the subconscious that is showing up. So remember, the subconscious mind is in the conscious mind is like an iceberg. We see just a little tip on top. That's the conscious mind. That's what we're aware of. But on that iceberg, most of that is down underneath the surface. That's the subconscious mind. It's this great big iceberg. But this is what the subconscious is constantly. It is what is speaking for us. Now, are we destined to be what the subconscious is? No. The subconscious shifts and changes. We're growing. You don't have the same subconscious that you had when you were 5 years old. Well, you kind of do, but you get some more. You learn some more over the years, right? So there's nothing to do about the past. There's only what to do in the moment and in the present. And when we do spiritual practice or when we use our attention and to put our attention on something new, we are building the subconscious and we are saying very clearly to the law of mind, this is who I choose that I am. This is who I am. We were not created as weak little separate beings that can't take care of ourselves. We wake up spiritually and realize there's one life, and that life is spirit and is the life within me. I stand and take dominion and pick up my dominion and say, no, I am a part of this life. I am joy filled. I am supported. I am safe. And declare that and stand in that truth. And then we begin to use this law consciously in a way that is supportive. Now, I want you to think about this. How many of you have had this experience where I want to be, let's use 4 different areas of life. I want to be healthy. Okay, so we have a goal. We really want to be healthy. But most of the time we find that we're thinking about all the things that we're not healthy about, like our aches and our pains, and we around different people, and the first thing that comes up is, oh, what surgery did you have? Oh, what problem did you have? Or what sickness have you had? And everybody has a conversation about what's wrong. Or what about if I want to be financially abundant, but all I do is keep seeing the insecurities and what could go wrong and the financial scary things, or I keep focusing on what I don't have. Or I'm in conflict. I really want to be in a loving partnership, but all I think about is that I'm not in a loving partnership. Or maybe I'm in conflict. I really love being single. I'd really like to be married. I love being single. So there's this conflict. And most of the time, we all live in some sort of conflict about these different things. Because if we weren't in conflict, the roads would be wide open. So if the roads are not wide open, it's because there is a conflict inside of us. And once we just take some time to look at where am I blocked? Where am I feeling blocked? And we identify some of these conflicts, then we can pick up our bed and walk. Then we can say, okay, I'm going to make some shifts in my mindset around that particular area of my life. I'm going to get a little more serious. If I decide I'm going to be more healthy and not focus on what hurts, I'm going to consciously get a plan that says when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to be thanking God for everywhere that my body moves still. Looking for all the ways that I am blessed, all the ways that I am feeling healthy, all the things that I have to be grateful for. We have to be reminded of this because Otherwise, will automatically go down the mindset that the mind is programmed to stay safe. Okay. And it's programmed, it's constantly looking for what's going wrong. That's how our mind operates. But there's a part of us that is the higher mind, the higher chooser, the more intelligence within us that chooses a path that just says, I can see this in a new way. That be okay? So let's look at this then. Our part to play in the divine dance. We didn't find the slides, huh? That's okay. I'll just read it to you. You don't have to read it for yourself. You don't need this. You don't need no sticky slides, do you? All right. Okay, one more example, then let's go. We'll go to number 3. Now, these are silly examples, but I find that silly examples, like, hello, so it's like if you're going to bake a cake, right? If you're going to bake a cake, there's certain ingredients you need to put in the cake for it to have a certain effect, right? There just is. You need to have a little salt, you need to have a little sugar, and there needs to be some kind of flavor. There needs to be flour. There needs to be baking soda, maybe baking powder if you want a little fluffier. There's certain things for this cake that you want, a specific kind of cake. But if you just go, well, I don't have any flour. Yeah, well, you could use something else, I guess. And I don't have any sugar, and I don't have any salt. I'm going to use this, or I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that. Are you going to have the same result? You're not going to have the same result. And it's not because the cake doesn't like you. It's not because God doesn't like you. It's none of that. It's like I'm putting the right ingredients in. So I'm putting the right ingredients in consciousness. I know for a fact whenever I get get wired up, like I've been getting wired up this week because I'd love to do a talk, and so that makes me study all week. And it's the new year, so in the new year, I'm like started to look at where all the ways I've been in conflict, all the ways that I've been in conflict, and I need to like tighten up that ship so that I'm getting up and I'm remembering a spiritual truth. So I don't know about you, but I've been very distraught about what's happening in the world and the conflicts and the possibilities and then I worry about myself and my future and how am I going to exist, and I get into this futurized thinking, and I realized the law is the same law yesterday as tomorrow, as it's the same law that I studied 40 years ago when I first got into science of mind, right? And I thought the law has been so good, it's been giving me more evidence of my own fear. So if I want to start having a different experience, then I can't go out and try to rearrange all the pieces in the external world. I can't go around and rearrange the chairs on the Titanic, right? I have to come back to my own consciousness and to my own awareness to go, no, I'm going to choose to put my attention on spiritual truth, not on earthly chaos. I'm going to choose to put my attention on spiritual truth, that there's one great I am, and that I am is who I am. And I am safe and secure and supported. I am building heaven on earth. I can build a heaven on earth in my own world. Is that selfish? It's not selfish, because if we don't add love and harmony, that kind of vibration to the world, then we are contributing to the chaos. So we make a choice. I will choose spiritual truth. And whatever that means for us individually, that can mean lots of different things. Like spiritual truth can just be something basic, that I know my children are all right. You know, I know that all needs are met. I know that I'm safe. Whatever it is. So there is a law that is operating. It is impersonal. It responds to our intention, our thought, our conscious thought, our subconscious thought. So what is our part to play in this divine dance? from the textbook. Undoubtedly, we are surrounded by and immersed in a perfect life, a complete, normal, happy, sane, harmonious, and peaceful existence. But only as much of this life as we embody will really become ours to use. We must develop the ability to choose where to place our attention. Think about this for a minute. Where to place our attention. Do you know that human beings now have an attention span that is less than a goldfish? And it's getting worse all the time just because the way we, are on our phones and everything is changes really fast and we have a very short attention span. And when life is giving back to us according to what we place our attention on most often, do you think that it might be helpful to learn to develop a longer attention span? Or do you think it might be helpful to be conscious about where it is that we're placing our attention, right? So it's like in that quote from the textbook, we're surrounded and immersed in a perfect life that's complete and normal and happy and sane and harmonious and a peaceful existence. How many of you'd like more of that? Of course we would. You know, because it's our nature. It's our nature. Our divine nature is to live in it. It aligns with peace and well-being and sanity and happiness. It aligns with that. But doesn't mean we're always there. Okay? It doesn't mean we're always there. That's okay. But we're learning to place our attention on those qualities more often. Because at any moment when you look out your window, and I use the word window kind of as a metaphor, when you look out at the window of your life, looking outside, at any moment you can look out that and see something really beautiful. Maybe it's just a bougainvillea outside. There's a bougainvilleas all over where I live, and they're bright and they're red. And every time I see one, I go, oh, it makes me so happy. It makes me feel like I'm in St. Thomas vacation, you know? Or I could look out and see worry and chaos and traffic or whatever, okay? So I have the ability, and Ernest Holmes is telling us over and over that we can look at that. We can and we should look at that. What are we focusing on the most? Are we focusing on the chaos? Are we focusing on what's wrong? Are we focusing on the abhorrences of life and certain people? Or can we train ourselves to look at that which is beautiful, which is kind, which is loving? And what we put our attention on, we will begin to see even more. Ernest Holmes says, know your own mind. Train yourself to think what you wish to think, be what you wish to be, and feel what you wish to feel, and place no limit on principle. Place no limit on what? Exactly right. So we must train ourselves to look upon the things of the Spirit, the qualities of the Spirit: love, peace, joy, beauty, power, strength, unity, life. That's always available as we learn to put our attention on that. Knowing that as we place our attention on that, the law of correspondence is corresponding to that which we are placing our attention on. And we are becoming more aware of those things, those people, those feelings that are all around us. There was a wise rabbi that once asked several of his disciples, where does God exist? And they said, everywhere? And the rabbi says, no, not everywhere, only where they let God in, only where we let God in. So we want to practice more intentionally to let the Spirit in. Let the Spirit where? In. It's in already, but our awareness is allowing us to experience it in a real and palpable way. So practices to put this into play more intentionally. How many would like to practice this week and put it into intention? So think about what works for you. All right. And I found that that it's more important to find one little thing to focus on than try to do too many things. In fact, I used to do this practice in foundations class for first year students, right? Taking foundation class. When we're studying this and we're learning this, and it's kind of a lot. And we used to do this great affirmation that Ernest Holmes talks about. And to me, it's like doing a spiritual mind treatment in a sentence. Okay. And it's, there is only one life, and that life is God or good, and that life is perfect, and that life is my life now. Right? You heard that before? There is only one life, and that life is God, and that life is perfect, and that life is my life. That's like a treatment. It's saying there's only one, and I am one with that. And then I'm declaring the word. This is mine. So I used to tell them they had to do it 50 times a day. 50 times a day seems like a lot, right? But it was like, I said, use your 10 fingers on your hand and go and just do the words. There's only one life, and that life is God, and that life is perfect, and that life is my life now. There's only one life, and that life is God, and that life is perfect, and that life is my life now. And there's only one life. And you could do that at a stop sign. You can do it 10 times, and then you only do that 5 times. It seems like a lot, and guess what? It is a lot. But my sins went out and they did that. So every day they're doing that thing. And if you could talk to any of them now, they know that in the back of their head, right? Because that's what happens is you do it over and over and over and over, and you get it so built into your subconscious that it's available to you when you need it. And it's a treatment. It's like no matter what's going on, I'm stop and I remember there's only one life, and that life is God. Some people don't want to use the word God. Use good. There's only one life, and that life is good. And that life is my life now. So I'm saying this life is good. It's my life. There's only one life, and that life is good, and that life is perfect. And that life is my life now. And and refining that one thing to repeat, that just when you get off track, that you can bring yourself back to one focus and one affirmation or one truth, one spiritual truth. And maybe the spiritual truth that you're going to choose to practice, it is totally aligned with one area of your life that you really want to know a deeper spiritual truth. Pick one. Like pick one. So maybe if you're feeling fearful about the future, maybe it's something like, I am always safe. God is safe and I am safe. My favorite is to always remember that God is my source. God is my husband. God is my father. God is my provider. God is always with me, taking care of me, opening the doors. I think back on my life and I think about all the scary things and all the ups and all the downs. But when I kept going, no matter what, I can go back to one truth, that I know that I'm connected to this presence and that it becomes to me what I believe that it is. And it serves me to call it Father. It serves it to call it husband. It serves me to call it that idea of complete care, taking care and supporting. It's a it's a it's an identity that helps me feel safe. Okay? So we find things that work for us. One thing, just one thing. I want you to think about that, what that could be. Because if we don't make a little shift in the direction of spiritual truth, then it's not going to make that big direction to us. So we take the first step towards truth, and truth just pours forth its blessing upon us. All right. So one more science of mind text. And all of this is page 40 to 50, okay, in the textbook. So let us restate our principle. We are surrounded by an infinite possibility. It is goodness, life, law, and reason. In expressing itself through us, it becomes more fully conscious of its being. God knows itself through you. Therefore, it wishes to express through us. As it passes into our being, it automatically becomes the law of our lives. It can pass into expression through us only as we consciously allow it to do so. Therefore, we should have faith in it and its desires and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever need to have done. Since it must pass through our consciousness to operate for us, we must be conscious that it is doing so. The one who wishes to demonstrate some particular good must become conscious of this particular good if he wishes to experience it. So we look at this and finish up. There is one life. This life is perfect. It is everywhere present, and it manifests through us. And because it manifests through us according to deep law and principle, we participate consciously with this by doing what it is that we can do. And what we can do is direct our attention on spiritual truth. And the more we direct our attention on spiritual truth, the more we will see spiritual truth and the qualities of spirit show up in our lives as manifest form that we can see and experience. So take a breath, breathe that in, and think about what can you take? What one thing can you take home with you out of this message to practice? Show of hands. Anybody be willing just to share something? What can you take out of this message and take into your life this week to practice? Awesome. Did you find it? Yay. Great. Yeah, the affirmation. There's one life and that life is God and that life is perfect and that life is my life now. Yay. What else? I know this is a time of question and answer. So question or share or what can you take with you? Nice. Awareness and acceptance. Beautiful. Anything else? Okay, in health. So paying attention to your good health. Yeah. Exactly. Good. All right, about the aches and the pains, but the health that resonates. That's right. Yes. Yeah, let it be very real. You all know, and you don't need to share it with everybody, but there's those areas of your life that you know you've been out of alignment on. And so this is the time to go back into alignment to know a higher truth. All right. Okay, so thank you. So let's do a closing treatment. Then we take a deep breath, bringing all of our attention and all of our awareness into the center of our being, right at our heart. As we take that breath, for a moment, we feel and touch into that presence, that mighty I am presence, mighty spirit, infinite intelligence. There is no place where this intelligence does not exist. It is all knowledge. It is all wisdom. It is all love. It is all purpose. It is that it is. And there's no place where this life does not exist. And I know that I am a part of this life. I am like a drop of the ocean. I am all of the qualities of the ocean right here in me. I am. that great I am. I am that I am. I align with that. Therefore, I know the truth. For each and every person that is listening to this, each and every person is waking up to know their own truth and is hereby declaring and standing in divinity of knowing I am love, I am beauty, I am health, I am wholeness, I am harmony. I place my attention on these qualities, these spiritual truths, and I allow them to manifest exactly as they need to. I don't look to the world of effect as my source. I am the source, and I stand in that holy remembrance. I remember to look around at all that I am so grateful for, and to remember that I am so eternally grateful for the blessings that are all around me. I'm so eternally grateful for spiritual truth, which penetrates my every heart and mind. I am so very grateful. I'm grateful for the manifestation of spiritual truth in each one's life right here and right now. And I let it be so. And I simply say, thank you, Spirit, and say with me now, and so it is. Yes.